Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with some more Friday Night Magic. Today we're running a mono black deck. I'm not super keen on this hand. It's all right, but I guess we're gonna keep this. I don't want to go down to 6. The Specters are nice, and we've got a Mind Rot for removal. The other hand was basically the same thing, except instead of the Mind Rot, we had a Scorpion, which is a nice early Death Touch creature. But hopefully the deck we're playing isn't super aggressive, and we're gonna be good to go here. Just picked up some removal here as well in tribute to Hunger. Quickly show you what I've got on my hand. So the two Liliana Specters, they're 2/1 flyers, and when they come in the battlefield, each opponent has to discard a card. We have the tribute to Hunger, which an opponent sacks a creature and we gain life equal to their toughness, and then the Mind Rot to have target opponent discard 2 cards. So we're just gonna start with the Liliana Specter. It's gonna force a discard and then also give us force a discard and then also give us a nice 2/1 flying threat. The opponent played an Elvish Visionary, which is a 1/1 elf. I believe you just draw a card when it comes into play. I'll confirm that in a second though, once he decides what to discard exactly. Oh, Harley Quinn. Yeah, it comes into play, you draw a card, there you go. And then he discarded a, okay, so he's running green-blue at the least. We know that much. Maybe he doesn't have a blue mana, that's why he decided to discard that. I don't know. He's not playing, oh, there we go, okay. Another green, he decides to cultivate. Okay, so this is gonna let him get the mana that he needs. Cultivate lets him search for 2 lands. One of them goes into play tapped, the other one goes into his hand. And I think next turn we may very well just play the second Liliana Specter. So, goes for 2 blue. So yes, we've got a few early game creatures between 1 and 3 cast. Some big late game demons like Indulgent Tormentor, Runescar Demon, and Grizzlebrand. And then just a bunch of removal essentially with direct removal, forced to discard. We're gonna take the 1 because now we can return 2 to him next turn. Forced discard, damage with life gain from Vicious Hunger. It's a pretty fun little deck. Let's see, we could go with the Radiant Fountain just for some life gain here. Though it's not super, yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to, I guess, at this point. Yeah, we'll go with the Radiant Fountain, comes into play, we gain 2 life, and it works as just a colorless mana source as well. And then we're gonna throw down a second Specter. Throw down a second Liliana Specter. This will force him to discard a card. We may see him discard the land that he just filtered through with Cultivate. But that's good, because we're gonna be setting up for a big Mind Rot once he's got a lot less cards in his hand. Mind Rot makes him discard 2 cards, and that is probably gonna be it's gonna be more painful when he's got less cards in his hand, so that's sort of what we're working up to. That is what we're working up to, all right. So he's gonna discard an 0/1 flying with Evolve. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna go ahead and attack him in the air for 2 with our Liliana Specter that we played last turn. And he takes that damage, and then turn gets passed on over. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. We haven't seen much from his deck, but I expect it to evolve soon. All right. So whenever he plays a land, enters the battlefield, he gets to put a quest counter on this. You remove 3 quest counters, draw 2 cards. That's actually really cool. And then Cultivate, so now his second quest counter is gonna get put on that, because he gets to put another land into play now. So this is a pretty interesting deck that we're seeing from him. Not very aggressive, but he's got a lot of fetch, land fetch, and card draw, and it's pretty neat. I'm looking forward to seeing what he ends up coming out with. Now something that'll be interesting is we have the Tribute to Hunger. So target opponent sacks a creature, we gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Now, if I see him play a big creature, what's gonna happen is it's gonna go through, and then if we kill off the Visionary and have him with only 1 creature left, then he is forced to sacrifice it. So what I'm gonna actually do right now is we're going to throw down a Mind Rot and force him to discard 2 cards. So he's got 4 cards in his hand. He's gonna have to get rid of 2 of them right now. One of them will be a land, because we just saw the Cultivate. But the other one, 2 lands. Okay, so he's just got 2 regular cards now. And now we're gonna throw down a Farika's Chosen. It's a 1/1 with Death Touch. The way Death Touch works is whenever a creature is dealt damage by a creature with Death Touch, that creature is guaranteed to die. No matter how much health that it has, it just straight up dies. And so this is sort of what I'm talking about. If he plays a huge creature this turn, it'll go through, and if he attacks with his 1/1, I will kill his 1/1, and then we force him to sack his huge creature, so long as it's the only one left in play, right? He plays a 2/2 Flying Flash, enters battlefield, sacrifice unless you return another creature you control to its owner's hand. Nice, and then he replays the Visionary to draw a card. This is a cool deck that he's running. I'm looking forward to going into multicolored decks with you guys in the future. Not running it at the moment, but now he's got another land, so he can sack. Now he can sack that, draw 3 cards, plus he draws another card because he just played another Elvish Visionary. Very neat little deck. All right, now he also has a blocker for our 2/1 flyers, but that's fine. We're still gonna swing with them. Oh gosh, we can't play this yet. That sucks. All right, so we're gonna swing with both of our 2/1 flyers. He will likely block one with his 2/2, unless he plans to bounce that back. Okay, so he's gonna block that. Takes 2. Both creatures die, and then pass the turn again. So we need one more land for our Runescarred Demon. It is a 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, we get to search our library for any card, put it in our hand, and then shuffle our library. All right, so this is the sort of thing I'm talking about, like a Royal Elemental. Now, if we can kill this, that's great. Unfortunately, though, he's gonna start bouncing stuff back. Royal Elemental. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain control of target creature for as long as you control Royal Elemental. So now he just took our creature from us, and he's gonna be able to do that every single time he plays a land. Yep, it's kind of crazy. It's a wee bit crazy, and kind of screws us a bit, actually. Unless we get target removal, this isn't good. All right, so we're gonna play the Phyrexian Rager. It's a 2/2, enters the battlefield, we lose a life and draw a card. We need target removal. There's another land for our Runescarred Demon. Can't play it yet, but... And now we are not going to attack, because I want to... I mean, this is really bad. We need to kill that Royal Elemental. We need something to kill that Royal Elemental. So what we can do is next turn we Runescarred Demon, we can search for removal to kill his Royal Elemental, and then as soon as the Elemental dies, we get all of the creatures that he took from us, we get them back. So that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Normally I would search with Runescarred Demon for another one of my big creatures, but I can't afford, with that in play, I can't afford to do that. So he's gonna play this, he's gonna take our Spectre. Yeah, that's absolutely 100% what we have to do. And then at that point, I just have to pray that he doesn't have a counterspell, basically. He's gonna enlarge, pumping his creature up, and giving it trample until end of turn. Oh my gosh. I am just dead. I just die. All right, I'm gonna tribute to Hunger now, so that we at least gain some life. It's gonna force him to sack a creature. He's just gonna sack one of my creatures, probably the 1/1. Oh yes, sack, okay, I see. Yeah, this is not good, my friends. This is not good at all. And the thing that sucks right now is with the Runescarred Demon, we cannot play the removal spell that we're about to go grab. I think I should grab Vicious Hunger. I think that's gonna be my best choice right now, because we'll gain some life too, which we desperately need. All right, so we're gonna grab the Vicious Hunger, and so long as we live this turn, we'll be able to kill his Royal. So long as we live and he doesn't pump it up and he can't counterspell. That's a lot of ifs. Yeah, not feeling too great right now. All right, so he plays a land, takes our 6/6. Ah, so unreal. He better not have a counterspell. So he's gonna hit us now for 3, 4, 5, 6, bring us down to 2. Keeping my fingers crossed, even if he does, even if he doesn't have a counterspell, we're at 2. I mean, we're kind of screwed here. Oh good, 2 Vicious Hungers, that's amazing. All right, Vicious Hunger, deal 2 damage, we gain 2 life. Beautiful. And we are going to play a Chosen, and I'm contemplating playing the other I am going to play the other Vicious Hunger. I am just way too close. I am just in way too in danger territory right now. I don't think I can afford for him to have anything in play, any creatures in play. So getting rid of as many as possible. So he's gonna throw it on Cultivate. Oh my gosh, could you imagine with his Royal Elemental in play? I mean, again, he gets so many lands in play with this deck. It's just so crazy. All right. So if he attacks with that, I just block with my 1/1. Why wouldn't I block with the 6/6 flyer? It's too risky, it's not worth it for me. All right, so I'm just going to attack him with the 6/6 flyer, that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and move into combat phase. I wanna save the other guys for blocking. Attack him with 6 in the air. This brings him down to 6, and this gives us a potential victory for next turn. And we are now sitting dead even. So here we go. Either he has removal or bounce, plays a creature with flying to block, or has pump up for the Visionary to win this turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature you control to its owner's hand. He might have bounce, so we might not have the win here. Here is a 1/3 Death Touch. All right, so let's go ahead and move into combat phase. We swing for 6, and it's the moment of truth. Does he have bounce, or do we win the game? Oh, buddy. There it is. That was close. Nerve-wracking, but we win. Now on to game number 2. The opening hand is all right. We've got some lands, we've got some draw, we've got some early death touch. Let's go ahead and keep it. Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and keep it. We're gonna start off here with the Farika's Chosen. It is the 1/1 death touch. Next turn we won't really have a play, but the turn after we can go with the Phyrexian Rager or the Giant Scorpion. And we're gonna be playing against white life gain weenie style stuff. Contemplating whether or not I should attack right now. Yeah, because he probably won't block with a 1/1 lifelink, because he probably wants to get more value out of it. So you figure if he takes this, he attacks me, does me damage, and gains back the life that he lost. Which is a good reason for me not to be attacking with it, actually. But I want to set up for next turn in which I can play a blocker that will kill this creature. Quick creature can't block. Whenever a quick creature is dealt damage, destroy it. Can't be blocked. Gotcha. I was like, wait a second, what? That is terrible. So if he draws a land next turn, he's gonna be able to throw that on his 1/1. He is, I don't know what he's debating right now, but he's debating something. So he's gonna attack me for 1, there you go. Brings me down to 19, he gets back up to 20. And so long as he plays another land next turn, he can equip that thing so that it can't be blocked. So I think we're just gonna go with the Phyrexian Rager. That way we can draw a card. Ooh, or we can Liliana Spectre. Let's go with the Rager. 2/2 comes into play, we lose a life, we draw a card. Oh, we gain 2 life, by the way, because we played the Radiant Fountain. And we drew into the Graveborn Muse, which is an awesome card draw. An awesome card draw creature. At the beginning of our upkeep, we draw a card and lose a life for each zombie in play. Now, this deck doesn't run a ton of zombies. In fact, it's pretty much just the Graveborn Muse, but it's a card draw every turn. When you run too many zombies, you lose a ton of life, so, which is fine for a zombie deck, but there's not a ton of options in Duels 2015 to make that type of a deck. All right, so he's just gonna play some walls here. 0/4 wall comes in the battlefield, draw a card. And he will not be attacking with his 1/1 this time, because we just block it with the 2/2 and kill it. What? All right, he must have removal or pump up, but if he doesn't, we're gonna call a bluff here. Oh, it looks like he does have Swift Justice. Target creature gets +1/+0 life. Okay, so there we go. First strike and lifelink. Now, that's fine. We didn't plan to overwhelm him with our early game creatures anyways, so. So we could Dreamborn Muse right now, or we can just Liliana Spectre or Giant Scorpion. Gonna hold off on the Dreamborn Muse for now, and I will play the Scorpion. It's gonna give me a 1/3. It'll give me a good blocking creature for his 1/1. And we're gonna attack with our 1/1. If he blocks with his wall dies because our 1/1 has Death Touch. So he's just gonna take it, and then we pass the turn. Let's see what else he's got here. So we can equip the Hot Soup to his 1/1 if he wants. There we go. So that, now we can't block it, so he just attacks us and we take it, plain and simple. And the reason, if you're wondering why I didn't play the Graveborn Muse yet, I just wanna be careful. I mean, I've got other plays, basically. It's not like I'm starving for plays here, so. You know, this sucks. We can't play the Vicious Hunger and the Liliana Spectre. Let's play the Graveborn Muse right now. And then we're gonna swing for 2. He will likely let it both go through. Again, if he blocks either one, then his wall dies. So he'd be better off like saving it to block the Graveborn Muse. And he's down to 19. We're still up at 21. We've got the Vicious Hunger, but I don't think that 1/1's the most amazing target for it. Something like this is a good target for it. And I just pray, oh no, it's gonna get pumped up right now. Oh no, that's not good. Shoot. So a Pride Mate, whenever he gains life, he gets to put a 1/1 counter on it. So it's now a 3/3 at least, potentially more if he gains more life. This isn't good. Dreamborn Muse, we draw a card, plus we get the card for our draw step. So we've got 6 in play, so we can Spectre plus Mind Rot or Vicious Hunger. Well, we've got a hard removal for this. Spectre, Mind Rot, and just get rid of his hand. Okay, so that's his hand in its entirety. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Got some good cards with that. Specifically, getting rid of the Rock's Faithmender is huge. Whenever it's got lifelink, plus whenever he gains life, he gets twice that life. We also got rid of the Resolute Archangel, so that's fantastic. All right, now our big problem here is Pride Mate's gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, but we've got card draw, so hopefully we draw into, We need to draw into removal ASAP or else we're just straight up dead. Well, I'm gonna block his 8/8 flyer. The problem is next turn he's gonna put the Hot Soup on it. So we need to draw into hard removal right now. So we get the card draw plus our turn. That's not what we wanted. Play this, draw a card. That's not exactly what we wanted. It's not bad though. We're gonna throw down a Vicious Hunger on his 1/1. Just to gain some life and to get rid of his life link creature, which he was getting card draw off of. And we're gonna, which he was getting the Pride Mate pumped up because of the creature kept gaining life when it dealt damage. So we're gonna attack with all this. He blocks the 3/3, takes the 2. Problem is we're dead in 2 turns. Yeah, we're dead in 2 turns. Unless we draw hard removal, we're just done. Alright, so here's 9 damage. We do have the Grizzlebrand, so as long as he doesn't have, what is this? Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, the Grizzlebrand, actually, we can't even play the Grizzlebrand. Yeah, we're done. We're screwed. Yeah, we don't have enough mana to play the Grizzlebrand. We need to draw into a flyer or a hard removal spell here. That's neither one of them. So close, but so far away. We've got 2 Mind Rots, a Graveborn Muse. We don't have any flyers. We're taking 10 at least next turn. So, GG. And our next game, we've got a decent opening hand here with the Chosen, Vicious Hunger, plus the Indulgent Tormentor for a turn 5 drop. We've got 4 lands already. Let's go ahead and keep it. Start off with the Pharika's Chosen, 1/1 Death Touch. Vicious Hunger for early game removal. The Indulgent Tormentor gives us flying and a card draw source or damage/removal for our opponent. And we're playing against another deck with black in it. All right. Not seeing a ton of the monocolored decks. Again, I'm solely running them for the start of this series. After this, we'll be going into dual color and then tri-color, possibly even 4 or 5 later down the road, but I can't imagine it's gonna be that effective with how restricted the mana sources are in duels, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything is possible. All right, blue-black, and he plays a 2/1 lifelink. It doesn't have flying, so we're gonna save for blocking. I could also just Vicious Hunger it, but I'm gonna Liliana Spectre this turn instead. Get our 2/1 flyer in play, force him to discard a card. And we are not going to attack, that way if he wants to swing at us, we can block with our 1/1 Death Touch. Ooh, this is good. Usually when it takes a long time, it means it's a tough choice. So maybe he doesn't have a lot of lands in his hand or something? Or he just didn't want to discard him because he's not sure if he's gonna draw into more, something like that. All right, so if he swings, we're gonna block with a 1/1 Death Touch. We don't want this to stay in play too long for him to gain too much life. We also have the Vicious Hunger, which we can remove it with, if this doesn't work out, basically. He is not going to attack, all right. That's good, we're gonna Vicious Hunger during our first main phase, and then attack him for 3. That means he's not gonna get any life off of that. Defender Flying, prevent all combat damage will be dealt, that's not good. We actually need to kill that. That needs to die. We're gonna double Vicious Hunger. We have to. It just completely nullifies our Liliana Spectre. And it pretty much destroys a lot of our creatures. I mean, even if we get a huge flyer in play, if he can just continuously block with that, you know, that's not good for us. So, now, something that is good for us though is next turn we've got the mana to be able to play our Indulgent Tormentor. So let me just walk you through this. It's a 5/3 flying, and then during my upkeep, we get to draw a card unless they sack a creature or pay 3 life. That's very, very good. It's an awesome card. And with only 1 mana available, I don't fathom him having a counterspell for this, so we're just gonna straight up play it. Admittedly, I should have waited until after attacking, because if he has bounce, he might have used it on my attacking creature, for example, thusly saving my 5/3. Letting him stay in play, because we want him to stay in play until the start of our next turn, in which the upkeep effect triggers, and we get to either force him to lose life, or we draw a card, or he sacks a creature. Either way, it's good for us. Whenever another creature dies, he may put a quest counter on it. With 3 quest counters, gets a 5/5 token. All right, so untap upkeep. Now he has to choose. Either he loses a life, he sacks a creature, or we draw a card. He gets to pick one of those 3. And so long as this stays in play, that'll happen every upkeep. So he decides to lose life. He decides to lose life. All right. Okay, so we are going to go swing for 7. Swing for 7. See what he has, if he has any bounce or something. He does not. Takes the 7. Do we Vicious Hunger his 2/1? Well, if we do that, it gives us a potential for a win next turn. I'm gonna do it. Oh, it's a counterspeller. Yeah. So the idea there was that if he attacks us right now, he goes up to 9 and we don't have a win next turn. So that's why I was trying to set up for that, because I anticipate yep. So he's going to attack to pull himself out of death range, basically. Okay. All right, so he is at 9. We're gonna do the same thing. Either he sacks a creature, loses 3 life, or we draw a card. He's gonna Pester Mite. Taps a permanent, so now we can't attack him with that, but he still has to make a choice about sacking creature, losing life, or drawing card. Or we draw a card. And he lets us draw a card, and unfortunately we draw 2 lands. That's not what we wanted to do at all. I'm going to attack him with the Spectre, see if he blocks this. He'll probably save that to block our 5/3 though. Okay, so he must have something else to block our 5/3, otherwise he would not have done that. But again, if he can't remove this soon, it's just gonna keep plugging away at him. Either for our card advantage, him losing life or creatures, it's just gonna plug away at him. But he's pulling himself back into the game here. He's gaining life every turn, 2 life. He's now up to 11, we're down to 20. Do not rule him out. He is not out of the game quite yet. Indulgent Tormentor. Lets us draw a card. We get another Indulgent Tormentor. That's amazing. All right, so first things first, we're just gonna swing for 5, see what happens. He takes 5. And I'm going to play a second Indulgent Tormentor. See if it gets Counterspell. It does not. We're gonna play Radiant Fountain, gain 2 life, and then we pass the turn. So now that we've got 2 of them in play, next turn, the effect would trigger twice. However, the opponent, realizing that he was pretty much SOL, decides to just leave the game. We're gonna take this 2 just in case he's got something to pump it up or whatever. And we have 10 damage in play. See what happens here. Sacks a creature. Doesn't matter, we got 10 damage in the air. Let's just draw a card. No, actually lost the 3 life, fair enough. And then we will go ahead and swing for 10. And that, my friends, that should be the game. And let's go ahead and wrap up this episode by taking a quick look at the deck list. Starting off, we've got 3 Ulcerates. Target removal, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn, plus we lose 3 life because it's such a low cast spell. We've got the Farika's Chosen, the 1/1 with Death Touch, running 4 of those, 4 Vicious Hungers, 2 damage, we gain 2 life. 3 of the Tribute to Hunger, target opponent sacks a creature and we gain life equal to that creature's toughness. We've got the Giant Scorpion, 3 of these. It's a 1/3 Death Touch for 3. 4 Liliana Specters, 2/1 flying. Enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. We've got the Phyrexian Ragers, only running 2 of those. It's a 2/2, comes into play, we lose a life, we draw a card. Mind Rot, target opponent discards 2 cards. Very nice in conjunction with a Liliana Spectre. The Dreamborn Muse for card drawing. This is the only zombie in the deck, so you're pretty much just drawing a card every upkeep and losing 1 life. But again, when you're doing, it obviously works very well in the zombie deck, but you worry about losing too much life from having too many zombies in play. So it just in and of itself, giving you a card every turn, is fairly valuable as is. The Indulgent Tormentor, a 5/3. With the awesome side effect that you saw in that last game there. You've got the Flesh to Dust. It's a 5-land target creature removal. They can't be regenerated. Run 2 of those. 2 of the Runescar Demon, 6/6 flying. Lets us search our library for any other card, put it into our hand. And then we've got a single Grizzlebrand. You didn't get to see this in action, but once it comes into play, it is pretty much a game winner unless it gets hard removed. A 7/7 flying lifelink. You can pay 7 life to draw 7 cards. The card just wins games, essentially. Yeah, that's gonna do it, guys, for this episode of Friday Night Magic. We only have 2 more mono decks to take a look at. We have to take a look at a mono green and a mono blue deck. And then once that's done, we'll start to move into dual color decks, and then we'll take it from there. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. See you next Friday. Keep watching and keep owning.